Walt. This is Steve Rao. I wanted to open up today. It's my birthday, July 21st, so I'm taking a little bit of time off on a long campaign day. I wanted to welcome to World Edition as I begin the show today. A lot going on in the world. There's been another attack on a city in Gaza by Israel, so things continue to intensify in the Middle East. There was a drone strike by Russia against Ukraine. One was killed. And continued drama going on in the U.S. with this disruption going on at the national level. All eyes on the United States Senate race in North Carolina, where it is projected that Roy Cooper will be announcing this weekend at a Democratic dinner here in North Carolina, the Unity Dinner, and he will be running most likely against the president's daughter-in-law, Laura Trump. People are really focused in on an ever-changing world. An inflationary economy, prices are up, housing prices are up, an isolationist foreign policy, but Donald Trump is still the president of the United States. He's doing everything he said he was going to do, and we don't know what his poll numbers are, but apparently he's not going to change the direction of the country. So it's going to be up to the Democrats to come in and make an argument of taking back seats in the House and Senate. And of course, immigration is still the elephant in the room, really being the issue driving more of that Trump base, the illegal immigrants, anti-immigrant policies coming out and saying, look, we need to stop this, protect our jobs. And the big, beautiful bill, I'm going to end with that. That's the big story of the week and month. The cuts on Medicaid, healthcare, adding about $3 trillion to our deficit in the United States. That's the topic of the day. But Trump stands by it. And this is what forced Thom Tillis out of the race. He could not defend this bill, as he said he would hurt North Carolina. So we will see now how many people stay loyal to that and what will happen moving forward. I'm going to bring in Mark Lee. Sorry for being underdressed today in my T-shirt. And I'm going to get started here before I head off for a day off, actually. Today is my Sunday, even though it's Monday. So I'm going to I had 12 campaign events this weekend, so I'm so tired. So, yeah. But Mark, welcome to the show. Lot to unpack.
Yeah, a lot to unpack. We've got Dr. Sharif with us and John from Canada. We'll see what they've got to unpack as well. And like you said, there's a lot going on in the world. I understand there was a airplane crash in Bangladesh. Well, I know that that's where Dr. Sharif is and everything along those lines. And of course, there's a number of other things, like you said, that are going on in the world, including various attacks and all along those lines. So, like you said, there's a lot to unpack, and I'm sure we'll be unpacking them during this hour and all along those lines. And definitely looks like a lot's going on in the world and everything like that. And I know that even Nick was on earlier last week talking about the budget cuts in a network that you're a part of as well, because I do know that you have some involvement with PBS and NPR and all along those lines. So that's definitely been something that's been in the news, and people have been talking about that and the impact it could have on.
What's that going to have? Because I'm still getting emails from them about shows and everything. So we still have PBS North Carolina, right?
Yes, PBS North Carolina. I mean, they all still exist, but it's just a matter of severe budget cuts, and we'll see how much of that impacts some of their smaller stations and all along those lines. So yes, I mean, PBS will still exist. They're doing some campaign.
The last time I talked to David Crabtree, he said they were going to continue to, I think they've got strategies, so there could be organizational changes, but I think the main programming, like State Lines and Black Issues Forum, most likely will stay. Maybe there'll be shows that are cut, or they would have to have less consultants. So I know I've been informed I'm going to be returning. They may go to less cast, but anyway, yeah, it's going to be exciting to see what happens.
It'll be exciting to see what happens. And like you said, Black Issues Forum was one of their mainstays. As a matter of fact, they interviewed Mom and everything along those lines, because I think they're coming up on a anniversary in terms of how many episodes and how long they've been around and everything like that.
It's a great show, and the new set is beautiful there. And I'm the analyst on that show, but what's beautiful about that show now is that whenever I go on, I come on with just one other person on a couch. It's just so great. Yeah. And it's a great experience, and it's very different being an analyst on a 30-minute show when it's only two people versus the 30-minute show when it's four people. So it builds different skill sets, which, has made me a better analyst. The funny thing is, if I don't win the county commissioner race, I could be like a Bakari Sellers because of all this media life I have. So I, it's making me relax because I really have nothing to lose, only something to gain.
Yeah,
And
only something to gain. Like you said, there's a lot of talk around. Even I was reading an article before starting the show that North Carolina is trying to lobby to become one of the bellwether states in terms of the Democratic campaign. I know that there are some candidates that are coming into this area and everything like that. And of course, a lot of them have been going to South Carolina on a regular basis. I know that Bashir, who you said is going to definitely run, and Gavin Newsom, and I think Wes Moore might be coming to some of the states. I can't remember if it was North Carolina or South Carolina, but I did hear that North Carolina might be trying to push its neighbor to the south out of that realm and everything along those lines. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on in that situation. Steve bounced off, but I'm gonna bring in Dr. Sharif, see what he's got going on in his world, and hopefully Steve will come back. He might have had some things going on with his computer and everything along those lines. But yeah, there's Steve back and on
sorry, I
with that.
lost. Well, let me
No,
finish with Bashir. I mean, we do
Yeah,
know that
thank you. I
the,
just want to share
I
one
know some of these
information, the
governors
news
because of my work and
perspective is
job as
that
a
what.
lobbyist. And
hold
did
on,
you?
Dr. Sharif.
Sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
I just want to share a breaking news from Bangladesh. Bangladesh Air Force jet crashed into schools. School name is Milestone School and College. It's in Uttara. I live in a Dhaka city, the same city happening these things, and even today I have a plan to visit Uttara. But unfortunately, I just stopped this visit, but it's happened. And a most important factor is that in this uh, casualty, there is I get confirmed that 19 confirmed dead, including one pilot also dead, 160 injured. Most of them are students and school staff. That is the most pathetic things. Hundreds of students were attending class at that time of the crash, and emergency response team arrived quickly, and they tried to rescue. The operating were carried out by the military and fire these things. And from this crash, what I understand that the jet crashed into the main building of the Milestone School during a training flight. Witness described it a loud explosions followed by the fire and smoke. The aircraft reported experienced a technical failure shortly after the takeoff, and one on two pilots ejected safely, but the other was killed in the crash. The school building was several damaged, and classes have been suspended, identified. But major factor, I'm very much worried that Dhaka is a highly density populated country, and in that place, that this kind of crash actually very very alarming. So that's why I request through this program to all of our urban planners, the city councils, and all of the people. They need to design our city in an effective way. Also, the expert, let's say Steve, your city councils, if you have any kind of opinions and guideline for Dhaka, especially how they can protect themselves for this kind of injury, this is or this kind of damage. We need to identify these things. Besides that, I want to share another important news. This is very very important for us, and USA directly involved with this particular thing. This is about the tariff. And you know that our ready-made garments heavily affected by this tariff, and US has threatened around 35 to 37% additional tariff in Bangladesh garment sectors, potentially reach out 50% duty rate by August 1, 2025. And Bangladesh export to the US total $10 billion in year 2023-2024 fiscal years, and most of the export actually from the garments industry. So I found there is an immediate effect. Especially US retailers are reconsidering order due to the high cost. Analysts estimate around $3 to $4 billion lost export this year, and RNG contribute 11% GDPs. And besides that, these foreign direct investment, I told you, yes, some things that China Belt and Road initiatives investing in Bangladesh. But still, these things, I think we should negotiate. Maybe POT TV and World Talent Economic Forum with the high level authority of USA, we can organize some sort of dialogue and discussions how this emerging economy can overcome from these tariff issues. Uh, we have our politicians in the shows. Steve Dow, maybe I think, but yes, maybe you are American, but you are origin from India. So this kind of help will be very very uh, helpful. Country like Bangladesh, I think around 50,000 people lose job because of these tariff issues. Around 50,000 people. So this is high time how we can utilizing this kind of dialogue or this kind of podcast, and how closely the US politicians, US policymakers, or Bangladesh politicians or emerging economy politicians can work together for these tariff issues. So hopefully this will be very helpful and interesting. So these are the two news. Definitely it's bad news for us. I share with you. Thank you.
Well, appreciate it and everything. Steve, he mentioned and I was on another
No,
show.
no, no. I know a lot. Thank you so much, Dr. Sharif. And I got to leave in a few minutes, but probably be on longer tomorrow. But the main thing is with Bashir. I mean, I know a lot of these Democratic governors because I'm also a lobbyist, and my partner works a lot with the DGA. And Bashir is really running. I mean, he's a strong candidate because he's a governor, a relatively young, dynamic guy from a Trump state where he's consistently won as a Democratic governor. So he would really be able to build a good coalition and make an argument if you could pick maybe a vice president with strong foreign policy credentials. Some that come to mind, it's Pete Buttigieg, a former Secretary of Transportation mayor, but he was an Afghanistan veteran, could be a good vice presidential candidate, or even a Secretary of State in a cabinet. I also think that Wes Moore, the governor of Maryland, is being looked at as running for president, but that could be a good combination. I think someone with good military experience. So we got to wait and see, but I think that the bottom line is, assuming Trump, I don't think he can run for a third term, even though people are saying that. I think that they have a good chance if things continue, but they've got to find the right candidate with the right message, focus on the economy, and of course, 2 years is a long time. A lot can happen between now and 2 years. So it's all about the economy, foreign policy, and whether the Democrats can find a more centrist candidate that can appeal to independents and rural voters. That's the future for the Democratic Party. They have a lot of work to do. I mean, I think their message still isn't on point. They got to unite around the run candidate, even avoid a primary, because the primaries really hurt the Democrats, because then the parties shift to the left and then it's hard to win. So, and of course, Vice President Harris, I really hope she doesn't run again, but of course, we got to consider her as a possible running. So,
Yeah, it's a possibility she might run again and everything like that. What's your take on smart cities? I was on a show recently and they were talking about smart cities and everything like that. And I know that it's an active thing that goes on even here in North Carolina and everything like that. But what is your take on smart cities? Because even to what Dr. Sharif was talking about, I know that there have been smart city developments in the Bangladesh and stuff like that. But I know you're in that field in terms of city planning, in terms of being a lobbyist. But what is your take on smart cities, Steve? And then I'd love to hear from Dr. Sharif as well.
Well, that's a great way for me before I head out. But I think smart cities is basically leveraging technology to enhance the quality of services to residents. And it's called the Internet of Things. So we have these devices that we have, and we're all connected to the internet, the physical world, billions of devices. An example of how smart cities, we use it in Morrisville, is that we put sensors in our fields so we can manage floods, a notification. We can manage facility usage. We have these dashboards, and people can get information through our mobile app they can get from the App Store. And this is a great way for citizens to be engaged in what's going in their town without having to depend also always on a website. Now, you can manage transportation intersections, congested roads, stormwater runoff, and we're also incorporating an AI into our town for searchability of documents. So smart cities, and of course, security is also a concern, cybersecurity, but that's how countries in the United States and around the world are leveraging smart cities. And I think it says you deploy broadband, you can leverage this technology to actually do really good things. And people are all managing their information from devices. So they can get their information, you can push it out on the device. So that's the notion of a smart city. And I think that there's also an economic development component to that because you have a lot of startups and entrepreneurs that can come in, they can develop the apps, they can manage the apps, they can manage the smart city dashboards, and then they can be innovative, solving problems with different smart technology solutions, and of course AI as well. So I think there's a lot of opportunity out there, and as we become a wired world, and we already are a wired world, there's all kinds of opportunity.
And before I get to Dr. Sharif, I know you got to bounce in a little bit, Steve, and everything. I was talking to some friends of mine that are some in the political field and everything like that, and there's this concern about fiber, whether it's T-Mobile or Google, and its impact on our water supply. And I was just wondering if you had any notion around that and your thoughts around that, because I do know that there have been some concerns about its impact on water security, for lack of a better term.
I haven't heard so much about water, but Mark, anytime you are creating systems that are using a lot of energy, whether it's building pharmaceutical facilities or companies, economic development is driven by water and electricity. So water is always going to be an issue. It's an economic asset. Without water, adequate water supply, you can't have restaurants. You can't have hotels. We often forget it's not just getting a full bottle of water on a hot summer day. You need water, right? But I will tell you that the technology usage and increasing usage on the typical day today, you're seeing about 100,000 ChatGPT searches daily. That's enough to generate electricity for about 30,000 households here in the U.S. and around the country. So the data centers that are going to be required to power up these AI searches is incredible. And this is going to be a big problem moving forward, right? So energy, water, how are we going to power up this information economy? We have Duke Energy here. We're already running out of power in North Carolina, the 8th largest state, in terms of just where are we going to generate enough megawatt power to build more homes, to do all the things we want to do in a state that's continuing to grow. Where we live in Wake County, not too far from where you live, Mark, we have about 60 people coming in a day. 60 people to 70 people coming in a day. And, and that's a lot of people coming in every day. So where are you going to get the roads? Where are you going to get the power? Where are you going to get the water so that we can have a high quality of life? So sustainability and the adequate use of our resources is important. Conservation.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I know that's been an issue even in our mayoral race because all the candidates have been named and all along those lines. And among them are candidates like Anjanae Bell, who will be running against our current mayor here in Durham, Leonardo Williams, and I think there's like 3 or 4 others that are running as well. So there'll be some interesting races going on locally. And I know there's some national races and international races as well. So definitely politics will be at the forefront of a lot of discussions.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you'll be joined by.
I'm going to let John, and I'm going to come back in a little while, but I want Kimberly's here. I want to say hi to her. I'll be back tomorrow morning, and I'm glad I could open up and be here for about 20 minutes today, and lots of great stuff to go on. I think we should do some more shows on technology and innovation, and obviously, after my campaign in March, win or lose, I'll have a heck of a lot more time to come on the news. Right now, I'm campaigning about 14 hours a day, which is a lot. Wake County is a big county. So
it's a big county. You got to get to all those different places, whether it's Raleigh, whether it's Wake Forest, whether it's Knightdale or Apex or a number of the other cities that are there. So like you said, Wake County is a very big county and all along those lines. So yeah, you got plenty of places you got to hit and cover and all in that space. So we'll see how the race goes.
John, I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say. And thank you for being here, my friend.
Thank you. I just want to touch something that Sharif said. It's good to hear, Sharif, that you're becoming aware that maybe some of the policies from Trump isn't as good and beneficial that you initially might have thought. So your information about the garment industry is interesting. I'm sure that's not just an isolated industry that's causing harm. I encourage you to keep doing your research on that.
He definitely does great research on that and all along those lines and everything. Hey, Dr. Sharif, what's your take on smart cities? Because I know Bangladesh and some of those other Asian cities have been smart cities as well. And I know you've done some reports on that even in the World Talent Economic Forum and everything. So what's your take on smart cities?
Okay. First thing first, if you see about this Dhaka, Dhaka is very small. Let's say it's a very small city compared to any cities in USA. So in that city, if we think suddenly about a smart city, we have to rethink that how we can build, because a highly density populated countries, a lot of people live in Dhaka, a lot of people come to Dhaka because of their survivals, because if they thought that if they come to Dhaka and they can get their job and they can survive. So this is one of the important aspects. Second things, uh, smart city is very important for any countries, and Bangladesh can follow these things. But I think populations is one of the important aspects for our countries. Like we have around 171 million people. What we do with this so much of young people, what we do with so much of people, those who live in Bangladesh. So I encourage the countries. Let's say Japan. Recently, they are working with Bangladesh closely because Japan has many old people. So they are hiring lot of Bangladeshi people for their country. This can be one kind of solutions for Japan and solutions for Bangladesh. So hiring or getting jobs is very important. Secondly, as AI is coming, what will be the next generations, what will be the next future, that is also important. So I believe that our people need to get understand AI properly. Also they have to train or from the expert, and they have to develop their skill for AI and all of the resources. Then we need to think about this smart city. So smart cities concept, maybe Western world concept will be different. Country like Bangladesh will be different, as we have a highly density countries. So we need high rise building, right? So when we need high rise building, definitely cost is another issues. And besides that, this technology, this technopolis, the technological advancement, that is very very important aspect for us. So AI and all of the things is important. Urban planning is important. Understanding the local economy is important. And besides that, how we can create more opportunity for our people, especially creating jobs, creating employments. That is important. So I believe that this is high time for Bangladesh, high time from Bangladesh government, that they have to go for master plan for smart cities. They have to go for how they can develop, let's say, 8 to 12 different cities for these people, and people can go these different cities and they can find out their life and all of the ways. But today's issues, today's aircraft, and this kind of dangerous uh, air crash actually is very alarming for our countries. And I want to say sorry all of the people, all of the family members, those who are suffering for these particular issues. If you have any kind of solutions, any kind of cooperations, I'm happy to invite you all to take this challenge or solve this thing. Thank you all.
Yeah, appreciate it and everything. Hey, to tell me we were talking about smart cities just for a minute and everything, and I remember one of the smart city topics that came up, and I know you've got some friends in law enforcement. I've heard some people that are fans of ShotSpotter, which can definitely identify a bullet sound and get police toward that and everything. But as you know, it didn't exactly get wind support here in the Durham area and everything, and there are other places where it hasn't won support as well. I just wanted your thoughts on technology to help the police and firefighters get to their emergencies, and why do you think that it didn't get the support that it probably should have got?
Change is why it's not getting the support. Also, the technology isn't fully there yet. So there's still some issues with ShotSpotter. Yeah, it is. It can help and it can be a useful tool, especially things like that. But again, right now it's change, and that change is something that, as individuals, we have to get used to and we have to adjust to. And that's something that we aren't going to be able to adjust to quickly. And we need to be, I guess, educated into how everything works and how it's going to be accepted and how it's going to be utilized and what it actually does, because there are a lot of we just don't understand a lot of what AI does and how things work. And um, right now AI is on the way, but I mean, as Doc pointed out perfectly, yeah, AI is here and it's not going anywhere. AI is growing and it's not going to shrink. AI is going to take jobs. And yes, those jobs are not coming back. The thing is, we have to, again, I guess it's analogous in a way that how ShotSpotter is an AI tool that is, in all honesty, it is analogous to way AI is going to work in society. ShotSpotter takes jobs away from a person sitting on a corner, sitting there trying to call the cops, because it is your local community witness. And again, people get used to that. With AI, again, we have to learn to prepare. We have to learn coding because we have to be prepared for that. We have to learn ways to adjust to AI in Taco Bell. So it's AI is here to stay, and things like ShotSpotter and things like other AI tools used to help the police. Yeah, it's still a distance away in terms of it's being perfect, but it is easily blamed because there are flaws that create problems. I mean, self-driving cars are the same thing. Self-driving cars are the future. Uber just so Lucid's a luxury car maker. They make EV cars. They just released the very brand new luxury SUV, the Lucid. I cannot remember, the Eclipse, I think is what it's called. But Lucid, Uber just made a $300 million deal to Lucid for those EV SUVs. So now Uber is going to be using self-driving cars because of the technology within those cars. So again, Uber's taking away drivers. That's AI. So self-driving cars are on the way, and there are still laws and problems still with self-driving cars, but that doesn't mean they're not coming. That doesn't mean that's going to take them away. I mean, they're just going to go away. No, jobs are going to disappear. Taxi drivers are going to disappear. They're just going to be driverless cars. Uber drivers are going to disappear. They're going to be driverless cars. It's here. We got to be prepared. And ShotSpotter, to get back to the original topic, ShotSpotter is just one of those technologies that isn't there yet, but it's still on the way. And it is a useful tool, especially once it is set up to be that way.
That makes a lot of sense, everything like that. Hey, Doc, what are some of the topics you've been talking about on the World Talent Economic Forum? I know that you've had several interesting shows in the last couple of weeks. I haven't had a chance to catch all of them, but I have caught bits and pieces of them. And I know you always have amazing guests from around the world, some from California and some from other places around the globe. So just to let our listeners here on Pod TV, and I know we re-air some of those shows, but just tell them what some of your spotlights that you have hit, because I know y'all had a conversation around culture and around the impact of culture even on innovation.
Yeah, that was an interesting thing. I get the idea from the discussions and all of the things. Let's say John is very good friend. He is trying to help in Bangladesh. I try to understand his culture. I try to understand. He sent me a lot of email, a lot of information, and very interesting information. So I thought this is actually cultural gaps. So if we can understand the cultures, what's going on in Canada or what's going on in North America, or the same way what's happening in Bangladesh or in India, or some point in Europe, maybe it will be effective. So that's why I ask my people from around the world to join these cultural discussions. And you can see Professor Fred from Texas Austin, Sharidan Tatsuno from this California, some of my friends from Czech Republic, my Indian friends, me, and many people, they discuss and come up with very interesting discussions. And we find one thing is very strong because of the dialogue and experience. The final comments from their perspective: when you are in Rome, you have to be Roman. So things is that when we visit, it's California, I have to be Californian people. So when you have to visit Dhaka or Bangladesh, you have to be Bangladeshi. Then the corporations, medias, or science and innovations, and all of those things will get more success. So I actually get a very good response from these dialogues. Many audience, they like this kind of discussions, and they're requesting me to organize this kind of dialogue. So we are planning to organize practical conference and write some scientific paper. You know that research and innovation is one of the important aspects for that. Besides this dialogue, just this year we published two books. Uh, so in these two books, around 82 universities from around the world, from Asia, from Africa, from Europe, from USA, from South America, around the world. 82 universities, researchers, they contributing these things. So we are contributing in two areas. Number one is AI and case study. So we get very interesting case study uh, from around the world, especially what's going on with their AI and AI research. And final things with agropreneurship. I like the agricultural innovation and other things. It was amazing. I think 58 universities bring like their white paper, research papers through this process. So I believe that if we find donor agencies, those who can help with this kind of research and innovations and scientific findings, maybe we can help a lot of people. Definitely, dialogue is important. I want to request Port TV if they are collaborations with us, maybe US Embassy. They're asking me to submit some proposal, so maybe we can submit the proposal and we can organize real-time dialogue through this process. So I request everyone, my friends, my colleagues, all of the peoples, if you contribute in the scientific papers and even write your white papers and all of the things, it will be recorded. Then other uh, universities, industries, policymakers, they can use it in an effective way. So you can use our book for that particular issues. Thank you, Mark. Always supporting me, always encourage me, and give me a lot of positive things. Thank you.
No, no problem at all. Hey, John, what are you seeing and hearing in Canada around AI, but also just in general this weekend in terms of the response to some of the things that were going on, even in the Trump campaign and some of the cuts that were going on, whether that was around education or PBS and things along those lines. So, what has been the response in your neck of the woods?
I just want to touch a bit about what Sharif said. From my perspective, I'm one guy. Um, I've seen what the harm that Trump did during his first term. What's he doing? What he's doing right now during his second term is even more harmful, if not horrific. So I'll continue to engage with people that think that he's a benefit to their country, to America, and or the world. That's my primary focus. I want to see the cult of Trump die as quickly as possible. Every other thing is important, but my, focus and my priority is to push back on the people that think Trump is good. That's it.
That makes a lot of sense. To tell me what's your take on that, because it seems like he does have that cult going on, and it seems like some of those people that are in that cult don't care what goes on, even when it impacts them directly, like their pocketbooks and things along those lines. So, what is your take on this? And I actually saw and I brought it up on one of our shows that airs live on Sunday, and then we re-air it on Monday. But there was a poll, I think it was in Newsweek, that showed a bump, which actually surprised me in the support, for Trump in the African American community. And I don't know where they found those statistics, but it was reported that there was some sort of bump and everything for his support recently. I just wanted your take on that and where that bump would have come from.
I don't know about that. I mean, yes, I heard there was a bump, but I that's just people rallying around him because, again, My guess is, well, the cult was getting upset because of the whole Jeffrey Epstein stuff. And then when somebody outside of the cult says, hey, this dude did some bad, the cult decided, hey, we're going to rally around the pedophile. It's bad. But that's just natural habit. If you, I'm trying to remember the name of there's actually a tour coming out of Canada that is actually going around the country, or trying to go around the country and have different speakers talk to individuals who voted for Trump. But I'm trying to remember the name of it right now, but I can't. But there is something, and this is kind of what John was speaking to. I'll share this. Let's see there. This is, I mean, Mehdi Hasan they have been doing this 1 verse 20, but they've done it in various forms.
Right.
This was actually a good one with Mehdi Hasan, who did 1 verse 20, far right Republicans. And they are all diehard Trump people. And it's wild the things that they would say from how they would look past the Constitution. They don't care about the Constitution. Immigration, how immigration is. Like, for example, Mehdi Hasan in this one.
Tell on Epstein. He knows more information than I do.
Pause. That's time. Please return to your seat.
Good to meet you.
Yeah, he makes a claim next about
Surrounded is now a podcast available.
makes a claim about the Constitution. You'll hear it. And how the individuals that voted for Trump decide the Constitution is something they care about.
Donald Trump is defying the Constitution.
This guy
pleasure
that
meet you,
we're
sir.
gonna
Mandy,
see,
lovely to meet you.
he's a fascist.
So I would say
I'm proud
that
of
with Trump being anti-constitution, I don't really care, to be quite frankly.
Okay.
Because in regards
They're all clapping that they
in
don't care about
regards
the
to the
Constitution.
Constitution is a document that should seek to serve us.
Yeah.
And when it fails to seek to serve us, that can be amended. Laws can be changed. And quite frankly, the fact is, we're defending things in this country that shouldn't be defended. The First Amendment should not defend pornography and making children and women be victimized. Making women and children be victimized as a result of that. I think things like blasphemy shouldn't be allowed per the First Amendment. I think that, quite frankly, there are a lot of legal processes that are enabling criminals and bad people to fully enact their will in this country in the name of the Constitution or following the Constitution. So, quite frankly, if Trump is anti-Constitution, good, and I think he should go further.
So this is wonderfully revealing of the modern conservative.
So before going on, if you notice, he said that it is good that if Trump is anti-Constitution. Remember, they wrap themselves in the flag, they wrap themselves in the Constitution. And all this stuff that they're talking about goes against the Constitution. So therefore, they don't even really care about it. The fact is, they care about Trump, which is what I have been trying to say multiple times, is that it's not a caring. This is when, like others, like from Nick to Shaq to all the others that came on, even everybody that came on talked about, well, it's all about the laws and all about, oh, we can't go the immigration, or the stuff is too high, expensive, and all that was background noise. The actual truth of the matter is, this right here shows that it's more cultish than it is about anything else. And when we're talking about what can win and the policies and all this other thing, when you get to this point, nothing you do, nothing you say, nothing you try is going to win a person like this over.
Yeah, and if you watch the whole segment with this individual, right at the end, Messi basically said, "You're a fascist," and he said, "Yep, yes, I am." I encourage everybody to watch it. And I agree with you, Jatovi. It is a cult.
I mean, for example,
mindset.
I mean, actually, we'll, because he was interesting, but the other one that got me,
the clarity you deserve and news you can
Um,
trust. Go to
this lady here,
san.com/surrounded.
the way she talks about immigration, when all his, because this fits right with what we're talking about in terms of doing a whole, everybody can work together and build things. That's what Mehdi Hasan is saying is, hey, let's work together.
Is that immigrants overall are good for America?
And this is the conservative talking point.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, nice to meet you,
Mehdi.
Daniela. So in regards to your claim, I just want to start by asking this. Do you care more about helping Americans or immigrants in this claim?
Immigrants are Americans. I'm an immigrant and an American.
Well, immigrants are not Americans. Americans are the people that were born here.
That's not true. Where'd you
Are you
get?
talking
What's the
about
basis of
people-
your claim for
Are you
that?
talking about people that get naturalized in the process of becoming
Yes.
American?
14th Amendment. Have you read it?
Okay, yes, I have.
Citizenship clause. It
so
says
I'm-
any persons born or naturalized in the United States are citizens of the United States.
I'm aware of that.
There's
I'm
about 40 to 50 million naturalized
I'm
Americans
aware
in
of
this
that.
country.
Yes, but
You
wouldn't-
didn't seem aware of it because you said Americans versus immigrants.
So, but are you understanding that the process of getting all these immigrants that come in here we've been also the millions of immigrants, it's up to the millions, it's the last 20 years now, and it has dramatically affected Americans here in the country, which
Positively, I would argue.
people like me and everyone around here, we cannot find homes or even get jobs within our own fields that we go to college for, that we get into debt for.
People like
and
her,
because
white.
more blue collar work, especially in construction, agriculture and so forth, and the hospitality industry, we cannot get jobs in those fields. So it
Are
requires
you looking for a
us-
job in
I
construction
am
or
not.
agriculture?
No, I went
Just
to
checking.
college.
Okay.
Many people here are in college or went to college, but we can't even find jobs in our fields. Also because of the H-1B visa program as well. But in regards to just your claim about immigrants specifically, we cannot even get jobs to pay for housing.
Unemployment is at a record low right now, even under Donald Trump. And I'm not a Donald Trump fan, but I would say unemployment under both Biden and Trump has been at record low levels.
Okay, is this in regards for American citizens?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm unaware of that statistic, but from what I see, from what I
I'm an
consistently
immigrant
hear-
and an American, and I employ
Sure.
many
And
American
my-
citizens,
and-
both naturalized and the ones born here.
And
I employ
my
Americans.
parents, no, my parents came
Americans as defined by you.
My parents came as immigrants to become naturalized, so I'm not necessarily opposed
Oh,
to
wow.
immigrants.
So you're the child of immigrants.
Correct. I'm a child of immigrants. I was
But
born
you don't
here.
accept that immigrants are Americans.
Not at this moment.
So your
because-
parents are not Americans.
Not at this moment.
So hold
no,
on, your parents are
they're
not Americans.
citizens. They became naturalized.
You just said you can't be citizens by being naturalized.
No, I was born here, and I'm not
Yeah,
opposed
you're born
to
here, right?
naturalization. I
But
never
are your
said that I'm
parents-
against
Are,
naturalization.
are you against naturalization?
No, I never said I was against
You did.
naturalization.
You began. You're very. Everyone was here. They can play it back on YouTube. You said Americans or immigrants. Are your parents Americans or immigrants?
No, my parents are United States citizens.
But they're immigrants. You said.
No, they came here as immigrants. However, but
So they
I want
are
to make the
immigrants.
claim
You
that
said,
we cannot
I came
even,
here as an immigrant. I'm
But
an immigrant.
at this point, when they came, the
I
United,
think
the
that
United
people aren't
States
happy with the way
economy,
this is going for you.
the United States economy was not at.
It's better now. The American economy is better than it's been
Not
for
from
many
the-
years.
not from the
And I can say
statistics
that
I
as someone who
see. We
doesn't
have-
like Donald Trump.
We're
Which
giving
statistics are you
millions
seeing?
and billions of dollars
Which
to
statistics
people
are you
of,
seeing?
minorities as well as
The reason the
immigrants
economy is doing badly now is
that
because
we
Donald
can't- that
Trump's
we're giving
tariff
it to loans.
policy.
We can't
Nothing
even
to
get
do with
businesses.
migrants. In fact, the
We can't even
congressional.
start businesses.
I'm an immigrant. I started a business. In
No,
fact,
I
in
understand
fact,
because the SBA
immigrants
is
are-
giving people
immigrants-
billions
I
of
didn't
loans.
take any
They're
loans
giving
from
them
SBA.
billions.
I didn't take any loans
I'm not
from
saying you
SBA.
did, but I'm
Okay, well,
saying
I'm
that
saying I did.
statistically speaking, they're giving billions of
So
loans
should we do
to these people.
statistics? According to statistics, immigrants are 80% more likely to be entrepreneurs than native-born Americans.
Sure,
They're more likely
absolutely.
to start
No,
businesses
I'm aware of
and
that.
hire Americans.
No, I'm aware
right?
of that.
Immigrants
but
are
we
more
also-
likely to pay in taxes than
Yeah.
take out in benefits.
And
They're more likely to add to innovation and jobs and wages. This is what the statistics show. The Congressional
yeah, I
Budget Office.
understand- I
Let me just finish
understand
my point and
that.
let me come back in.
Okay.
The Congressional Budget Office, which is bipartisan, Republicans and Democrats both use it. They have said the immigration surge that you mentioned will lead to an extra $9 trillion of GDP over the next 10 years. That amounts to $65,000 per American household. That's $65,000 for each and every one of you holding up a red flag.
Okay, I understand that, but
So as you see, the penetration of the talking points that have no basis are settling in, and that's what they're voting on. If you notice, she dropped in the SBA loans and talking about minorities are getting them, and immigrants are getting them. And that right there is telling you where her perspective is coming from and where these ideas are coming from, which makes it tough in this climate, especially for people with melanin in their skin, because of the penetration of these ideas and notions within the whole MAGA sphere, which is a sad part. And it's a sad reality but it has to be something that is pointed out, and we cannot run from that fact. And somehow we've got to figure a way to break that cult mentality around this, because the demonization of just people wanting to start jobs, and if they happen to be an immigrant or a naturalized citizen or whatever, they're being demonized based on still a lot to do with the color of their skin and how they speak, which is sad, and that's a sad reality. Borne out by, and this is just a small portion, but they pulled from the that world, which kind of stinks. And I'm not saying that everybody's that way. No, that is a that is always the go-to, and I hate that argument that you're saying that all are. No, I'm not.
Yeah, Jacoby. Also, I've read a number of books on the history of the GOP. This kind of talk is within the GOP playbook. Again, for Sharif, who might not know this, I encourage you to read the history of the GOP. They always, for their own political gain, they will encourage these kind of views. It started with John Birch, with communism, socialism, socialists. It's a running theme for at least the last 50 years. So again, Sharif, I'm not picking on you. I encourage you to do a bit of work and read the history, because comparing the two parties again, please understand the danger of Trump and Trumpism and the cult.
Yeah, just one important aspect. If you see my political views, if you see my personal background, I'm from a very influential political family of Bangladesh. Right now, my uncle is a president of Supreme Court Lawyers Association. He was parliament member. My father was politician. My whole family was politician and lawyer. But I did not involved with this politics because politics has in USA, in Bangladesh, in Africa, everywhere. There are a lot of things. I never feel interest. This is number one. That's why I choose academy. Academy is more neutral place, and in this neutral place, I can improve human lives through contributions. And third things, definitely, I will go for studies what's going on in between Democrat and Republicans. But at least my 40 years of my life, I never see there is a massive change when Republican comes or Democrat comes. At least our lifestyle. So in that situation, I choose that how I can help grassroots level people. So grassroots level peoples need to get jobs, develop entrepreneurial initiative, protect their health cares, their housing, their all of the things. That's why I am just contributing through my World Talent Economic Forum and institution. Politics is interesting, but honestly speaking, it's not my first priority, and it will not be my first priority. It's never changed.
Yeah, understood. So, for me, up until 2015, 2016, I was the most apolitical person. I didn't care about politics. Within a year of what I was seeing within Trump's administration during the first year, I thought, this is different. This is strange. This is coming from America. And it became pretty obvious pretty quickly, to me anyway, that he was dangerous. Dangerous. So, again, I wasn't political before. Now, I'm retired. I have the time. I'll do anything I can to push back as gently as I can to against this view that Trump is good for his country and for the rest of the world.
No, this is meaningful. This is meaningful for me, and I respect your view. I definitely respect your view. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Sasha, what's going on? I know that tomorrow we'll be talking about Ukraine, Russia, and China, but what is the latest news since we got about 10 minutes to go in terms of what's going on today, July 21st, in terms of the conflict?
Well, Russia is continuing its bombardment of civilians all over Ukrainian cities. There is no single city that would not be bombarded by Russians. And it seems to me that Trump, when 10 days before he made his announcement for Putin, he asked him how much time he needs to deal with this war. And Putin told him 60 days. So after waiting for 10 days, Trump imposed 50 days deadline, which 50 plus 10, exactly 60 days, exactly what Putin asked for. So this Trump made clear to Putin, you have 60 days. Well, 10 days is over, 50 started. Well, it's already a week later, so it's still 43 days left. You can do anything what you want in Ukraine. Nothing will be in your specs except the Ukrainians themselves, but you have to deal with them your way. You know what to do. Go and do it. Well, on one hand. On the other hand, the 50 days deadline works also for Ukrainians because they can now attack Russians and make territorial gains and inflict casualties on the Russian side, right inside Russia. They're doing that. They're using military targets like different producing factories, especially weapon factories, and some others. They don't do it on civilian targets, unlike Russia, which does. So this is all coming to a head. European Union is not happy with Trump's doctrine that they will buy U.S. weapons, pay for it, and then these weapons would be sent to Ukraine. So European leaders now saying that, look, with perhaps exception of Patriot, we have all other weapons that could be sent to Ukraine to help it. Why do we need to send you any money at all? We can supply money to our manufacturers and get our weapons to Ukraine. How about that? Well, but that goes much beyond that. Right now, remember Trump imposed sanction of European Union, same as many other countries, on Liberation Day, so-called April 2nd. Then he reversed it a week later, April 9th, and gave 90 days to resolve these issues. Except UK, no other country made any resolution of this issue at all. So, as Trump always chickens out, he now imposes a new date, which is August 1st. So, supposedly, European Union, who was imposed at first 25% sanctions or tariffs, then it was changed to 10 across the board, but European Union would remain at 25%, and now Trump lowered that to 15% and invited European Union to negotiate. Guess what? There are no negotiations of any kind with the European Union because European Union, Canada, South Korea, Japan, and even China, they are all now working together to defeat U.S. imposed tariffs or anything like that. They're making new associations, new coalitions to trade among themselves, which will be a free trade zone, no tariffs, nothing. And Trump will be left himself minding his own tariffs. Okay, the only reason why somebody would pay tariffs to Trump if he would send B-2 bombers. That is alternative, and that's probably Trump will have to do in order to get paid, not just impose sanctions. Because if you impose sanctions and the country will no longer send you any goods, how you will collect? You will not be able to collect anything. So you have to send B-2 bombers. But there are just too many countries. He doesn't have so many bombers to send. He has to send them to Canada, France, Spain, Sweden, Norway, just all European Union countries, plus Japan, plus South Korea. He just doesn't have so many bombers. And if that's the case, how is gonna be he prevail on this tariffs war? He has to beg for forgiveness and cancel and throw to garbage everything what he was talking about, the new tariffs and how he will get paid and so on. It's not gonna work out. It will be a huge fiasco for Donald Trump and United States of America.
This is part of his playbook, is just delaying and pushing out, timelines. It's always 50 days or 2 weeks. This is, again, very common that we saw in his first term. How many times did he say that the new healthcare system, 2 weeks away? The plan is just coming. It's coming soon. 2 weeks, 2 months. It's all BS.
Definitely, he's got a lot of theater going on and all along those lines. But I know we're getting ready to wrap up and get ready to go to the economic show, which I think that Kim is producing, or maybe Nick is going to produce that one as well. But that'll be coming up at the top of the hour and all along those lines. So, Dr. Sharif, I don't know if you have any final thoughts that you want to share, but we got about a minute and a half and all along those lines. And other than that, we're going to get on out of here. We'll have more conversations. I know Steve said he'll open up again tomorrow as he did today, and everything like that. And then we'll definitely continue these conversations on World Edition, World Politics, and some of the other shows that we have here on Pod TV.
Thank you. This is very interesting discussions, and hopefully through this process, our audience can learn a lot of interesting things. And I request you all, if we can translate our podcast, even in Bengali, maybe a lot of audience can understand and they can utilize our podcast, and they can learn a lot of things. It may be valuable.
On that note, real quick though, Doc, is there any way, because I guess it's for selfish reasons, because I kind of I like learning. Could you possibly teach us the language?
Yeah, I'm interested to do that. Maybe this way you can engage more Bangladeshi people, and it's not bad. Around 271 million Bangladeshi people will speak in one language. It's called Bangla. It's easy, not so difficult. So I can start in this way. How do you say thank you in French? Anyone know French language? Thank you. How you say?
I forgot.
Merci.
Oh, yeah. Merci beaucoup.
Okay. We say dhonnobad. 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 Yeah, that way you learn Bangla already. Dhonnobad.
Dhonnobad.
We have to keep that in mind. We might have to do a Bangladesh word a day and everything along those lines. But on that line, we're going to get on out of here. Maybe we'll get Dr. Sharif to do a whole show around language and learning languages and all along those lines. But definitely, I'm all about, like Jacoby, learning on a regular basis. But on that note, we're going to get on out of here because it is the top of the hour, and we'll be back on tomorrow with more World Edition and World Politics. And I know tomorrow we'll also have Ukraine, Russia, and China, where Ivan, Sasha, and definitely Jonathan Lockwood will be there talking about what's going on. And that's that show that they do every Tuesday and Friday at 11 o'clock. So we'll definitely be seeing them tomorrow. But on that note, let's get on out of here, and I'll see you fine gentlemen later on.